This video is going to walk you through iMovie and just kind of give you the basics so that you can get started with your project. So first off, I'd like to show you how to pull in PowerPoint slides and set them to music or record the narration. And then second, I'd like to show you how to pull in photos. So first I'm going to show you PowerPoint. So I've actually opened up a presentation that I've created in PowerPoint. So you want to make sure that you've created all of the slides that you want. So I'm in PowerPoint now, and then I'm going to hit File and Save As. And then I'm going to choose where I want this file to go. So I'm going to choose my desktop so that it's easy to pull up. And instead of the format being a PowerPoint presentation, I'm actually going to save them as JPEGs. So I'm going to hit Save. And then it's going to tell me that each of these slides has been saved as a separate JPEG. So that's great. I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to minimize this. So I can see that if I go into my desktop, that my slides are now right here. So I'm going to click this, and each of these were made into an individual sort of picture that I'm going to pull into iMovie. So I already have a project up that I've been playing with. So I am now in iMovie, and I'm going to go to New Project, and I'm going to call it Test 2. There's all kinds of themes that you can choose, and I would recommend just sort of scrolling over these and seeing what kind of layout you would like. But you can also choose no theme for right now, especially if you don't know what you might like, because you can always change it later. So let's just hit no theme. And let's click Create. And then now to start a new project, I can select my videos or photos and drag them to this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my desktop, and I'm going to find that folder where my PowerPoint presentation slides are. And I have slide 1. So I'm just going to pick it up and put it here. That's going to be my first slide. And so on and so forth. I want my second slide here. I decided I want my third slide, and so on. So I'm just going to pick all of these up together and move them into my project. Okay, so now I have all the slides that I want. So now what I can do is, remember I don't have any kind of theme here. So what I can do is I can click over this first slide, and I'm just going to click this and say Clip Adjustments. Okay, so let me do that again. What I did is I just clicked on this first slide, and then I clicked on this little Systems button here, and then I clicked on Clip Adjustments. Now you'll see here that it has a duration, and that simply means how much time do you want between each of the slides. And if you're going to narrate it, then it's good to kind of practice this first and see how many seconds you need per slide. So I've practiced this, and I realized that I need about 5 seconds per slide. So always make sure to practice this before you actually go in here and adjust these. So I'm going to apply it to all stills, which simply means that it's going to give me a 5-second duration between all of these slides. And then I can also go to Video Effect and kind of play around with the way that I want things to look. And it'll give it all kinds of different, a grainy look. It'll flip it, it'll give it a cartoony look, so just play around with those and see what you might like. And I actually like it just to be plain, so I'm going to hit Done. Okay, now that I'm done putting the slides in and changing the transitions, I'm going to go to the music button because I've decided that I want some music in the background. So I'm going to hit this little music button. And then I have all of these songs in my iTunes. So if you're going to use a song, you have to make sure to put it in iTunes so that you can pick it up and drag it over here to your presentation, to your movie. So I'm going to pick up this song, which I'm just going to listen to for a second and make sure it's the one I want. And it is. So I'm going to click it, and I'm going to drag it all the way over here so that it starts at the very beginning. Now you can change this. You don't have to have any music in the beginning. It just depends on where you want to drag and drop it. So right now I have it at the beginning where it's going to start immediately. And I think I like that. So now I'm going to turn down the music. because what I want to do now is record it. So I'm just going to hit record a voiceover. And I'm going to check the microphone, and yes, it's working. So you want to make sure that you have a built-in microphone and that it works. So what you want to do now is, it says to record, click a clip where you want the voiceover to begin. So I actually think that I want it to begin right here. So let's just play around with it. I'm going to hit click. Why e-portfolios? And then I'm just going to talk through it. And you notice that it has the music in the background too. So you want to make sure that your music doesn't overpower your actual voice. So I'm going to hit stop. And then you can basically just go, you can see that there is a voice over here. And so what you can do now is, if you start from the very beginning, you can hit the play button. Why e-portfolios? And then I'm just going to talk through it. And you notice that it has the music in the background too. So now you can see that you can add music and you can add your voiceover, and you can actually have some timing in between these slides. So this is what I would recommend for using PowerPoint. Now, if you wanted to, you could pull in photos, but you have to remember that you have to have your photos in your computer so that you can pull them over. It's essentially the same idea. You're just going to go to this little camera button, and then you're going to pull in photos that you want to use. But I recommend trying PowerPoint first, trying these slides, and seeing, just playing around with how you might want your presentation to look, how you want your iMovie to look and feel to your audience. So this is basically the essentials of pulling in PowerPoint, pulling in music in the background, and also pulling in a voice recorded narration. Now lastly, I'm going to show you, if you just go to Window, you can change all kinds of things. You can change the transitions between, you know how I said you had no theme at the very beginning, so you can go to try and set some different themes and then just see how it's going to look. You can also come back up to Window and, you know, figure out what you want your background to be. There's all kinds of things you can do with the music and sound effects. You can also get there from the Window button. So what I'm going to recommend is that you just play around with this and see how you want your movie to look. Lastly, what you want to do is finalize the project. So I'm going to click Finalize, and it's going to take a while to finalize. So you notice it says it's going to take about 6 minutes. When it's finished finalizing, then you can share it. So that's what I'm going to recommend, is that you look under Share and see how you might share it with your professor, with your peers, and things like that. One of the easiest ways is actually through YouTube, but you have to have a YouTube account. So I'm going to recommend that you save it in the way that your professor has asked, or, you know, YouTube is an easy way. So if you have any questions, contact your instructor, but this is a quick and short tutorial that will get you started with iMovie.